Welcome to the European crossover webinar. We did see that big move. I tried to post in the room. I think DK saw it. The 1293 is a support right here on the euro. We just dropped into that area right here. Now we're at 13, almost 13.8 right now. Pop into that real quickly. That's on that poor German PMI data. So you saw this thing really drop like a rock right into this 1293 here, and we're kind of working off of that right now. There's some support I saw here on a not support, I guess you on the way down here. If you're looking coming right up here, 13. Oh, right there, 1324. So if the market wants to make a run, you'd see this 1324. They might try and get even eclipse this high, that 1326, and then maybe roll back over. But anywhere in there, if you got long here on the scalp on there, obviously it was the German PMI data. We'll bring that over here. As Blake likes to say, it crapped the bed. Look at that. The prior was 47.60. They were expecting an improvement to 48. We dropped a big drop. That's a huge drop to 44.70. And once again, you know, anything below 50 is considered contractionary. So, you know, we had already, you know, dipped lower, and, you know, they're thinking, okay, it'll prove still be below contractionary mode. And then all we do is we just turn around and really slide down the hill. And of course, you know, they consider Germany the powerhouse for the Eurozone. So not good at all. Looking further out for today, we did get Eurozone PMI. That came in weaker overall. We do have Canadian CPI later today. Let's see here. Also, Canadian retail sales. Do have market PMI flash. Did take a little whack on here on the S&Ps on that too. Let's see here. But obviously, the big driver today, the big news today is going to be this drop in the PMI down to 44.70. Move this out of the way. So we're still moving up higher here in this euro. Once again, you may see a dip down. Look at this 23-ish right here. If you're scalping. Right there, and that comes in at 24, and we've got 26. So they may try and make a run up here. If you'll probably see the market ease back, you know, from that area here. A moment. Boy, was that some kind of hit. See how far they can make it back on that. We shall see. Hard to even tell on that. Let's go down to a 3-minute chart. Oh. There we go. That might be a little bit cleaner there. I think we might try and make that run, but so far not yet. Cable dropped back a little bit. The yen, which had been fighting up here and actually had looked like we'd slide back. We did take a dip on these S&Ps, taking a little bit of a clock back in here. Peso made a quick little run up in here on that news, and we know we've got that 1897.30 coming up here. The bun, which I posted in the room here, we made new highs in the bun here. Not new highs, but new highs. Look at this run up in here. So these are new highs on this new move. You see what I'm saying? The moves have been coming up. Those are big highs right there. And boy, did we pop on that news. Look at that rip. Dollar made it just past this key area here and kind of eased back, made it all the way back to 96.80. Pretty big resistance right there, just as we were tagging that 12.93 here. But the big news, as I said this morning, was the German PMI data, which came in just terrible. So we'll just go on and get into the news, and we'll move into the analysis. On the morning bid, as it dawned on European Union leaders during the talks with British PMA last night, she did not have a plan B should her Brexit deal be defeated again. They reluctantly concluded they need to provide one for her. Hence the move to offer a 2-week reprieve until April 12th as the new exit deadline if she loses in Parliament next week. This is the final date by which Britain would have to kickstart preparations to take part in the European Parliament elections, as would need to if the UK ultimately wants to go for a longer extension. Crucially, it also keeps a range of other options on the table. Assuming May's deal is defeated again, lawmakers could quickly move to carry out test votes of the Brexit scenario on a softer variety, and if parliamentary majority emerges for one of them, it could prove the escape route for a no deal. Yet the knife-edge quality of this saga would also mean that even with the April 12 reprieve, hard Brexiteers' hope of a no-deal Brexit have also risen. Goldman Sachs has this morning upped its no-deal odds from 5% to 15%. All the Brexit talk meant EU release postponed till today their debate on China, with the European Commission due to argue for longer pragmatic rules on China's investment in the region. Meanwhile, Chinese President Xi Jinping will be the guest of honor at a state dinner in Rome this evening as part of his 3-day visit to Italy. It's not clear how a decision overnight by China's Commerce Ministry to include the EU in temporary anti-dumping measures on various steel products will add to the mix. And into market still, a no deal. Well, like I said, I don't want to spend too much time here because once again, this whole news with the German PMI is really throwing the markets a little bit into tizzy, and certainly has a risk on a little bit of concern here. This is a big deal because it's on a Friday also. So let's keep an eye on the euro, keep an eye here on the dollar index. Dollar yen here dipping into the 1050s after trying to trade into these 1080s here. Still overall holding up in the sense that the S&Ps had really, had taken a rally, and I was really surprised to see this rally up into these highs. But the dollar yen, like I said, still didn't, for the most part, not really buying that run up in here. Let's go on and quickly, let's see. Let's take a look at where we stand here with the dollar. Just a quick news, and just that we're not going to spend too much time on this at all. The dollar eased on a basket of currencies on Friday, while sterling gained slightly on news that PMA bought more time to resolve. Sterling rose 0.25% to 31.40. Whenever we get news that can be kicked down, the can be kicked down the road, the markets react positively, said Mark Wakabayashi. Investors are pretty much shying away from the exposure to the UK right now in terms of positioning. Japanese core consumer prices rose 0.7% in February from a year earlier, slowing from the previous month's pace. U.S. trade negotiation headed by Robert Litzinger and Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin will be followed by a trip to Chinese Vice Prime Minister Liu He to Washington in early April. It certainly feels like the markets need a few more days and sessions to interpret the recent change in Fed positioning, said Nick Twaddell. To observe the developments with regard to trade and geopolitical factors, investors will be hoping for more smooth trading conditions in the weeks ahead. So let's go and move on to the analysis. And boy, what a fall did we get. So we do want to jump onto the analysis and quickly get onto that. So we're looking for support. Let's go into the euro. You can see on a daily basis, we came right down here to this 1291. The dollar chart, daily. There we go. So there's our support right here, 1291 here. They just took that out just by hair. So that's going to be our support on our bias chart. It's also key daily support too. You can see that coming across here. This would be pretty bad if we lose this area. It's actually 1286 is on the daily, but that support comes in at 1291. But it's 1280. That'd be 1291 here. Looking into a daily. Let's see here. Well, here's our old friend 1326. Look at that. That's huge on a daily right here. Coming across here. It's basically that 1323-ish. Call it 24. And your risk is to 1340. So let's take a look here into the 2-hour chart. And this is going to get the concerns weighing about the euro again, despite what we're looking at and talking about, oh, well, the narrative has changed. That's pretty tough for the narrative to go this way now in light of that. So let's go and move into the 2-hour chart. Hard to, go along with that now. And look, this is huge, folks. Look here. Yesterday, Amir was saying, hey, look, you're not going to believe this. I think the euro is moving higher. And I agreed at the time because I said, hey, look, all we've done is we've come back and tested the broken trend line. And they ended up holding. They actually were starting to come off of that, and they did move higher. Look at that. So that was correct. But like I said, as the saying goes, a funny thing happened on the way to the palladium, and that's right here is at the German PMI. So now you've gotten above this thing with a beautiful break. You come back and test it, and now you just really just fall completely right through it. And then that's a key, huge thing about the German PMI moving much further away from the contractionary mode, 50. So, anything below 50, the power is 47.60, and that was, looking pretty bad, but maybe things are starting to get better. We talked about, remember how the market was starting to exceed that perception? Oh, well, the glass is now half empty. The numbers are bad, but you know what? They're not that bad, and they're kind of surprising to the upside. And then that's what we were talking about. The narrative was changing for the euro. Well, now this really took a real big punch to the gut now, because now look, they were expecting 48, so we were below the contractionary mode. They're thinking, okay, we're going to start to work higher, and we not only fail there, we don't even hold the prior months. We really take a shellacking below even 45. That's bad news. And obviously, henceforth, you saw this run up here in the German bunds. Look at that. We're on our highs right now. Look at that. That's why when I posted that in the room and I said, hey, new highs in the moon, I didn't mean new highs for the day. I mean like new highs for this move. And remember the old thing, way you used to be able to trade the euro is bunds make new highs, euros making new lows. And look, there we are now, 1302 now. But this is huge here with Germany, and Germany being the hub. It's not like as if it's Italy. And here we are starting to slide back again. I thought we might be able to make a run up here, let's say to 1326-ish, and I said that's a good area to put your stops in. Not stops, but your to start to get short, because once again, if you look at the daily, then your risk would be the old 1340, and you could just put your stops. Hey, just as long as they don't get a close above 1340, just reload and just let this thing eventually roll down. You're not even getting that pop up here there, so. Once again, it's 1291. If we break 2991, then we're going to be heading towards that 1260-ish area. But this is bad news for the euro looking out. As far as resistance, let's go back here to the 2-hour chart. Well, key resistance There's that 1326. So give it just a little bit of a, right there be 1329. This has really got to shake up some bulls. I mean, this was looking very good, overall, and now I got to flip this to bearish. Look at it now. We're pressing back again here. Support on a very short-term basis. If you're scalping it, they're going to want to test that area. It's right there, 1282, but the support comes in really at right there, this 1270. See, like that, they're breaking again. So it really comes in here. There's 1268 on a short-term basis. It's going to be right in here, this 1280. We'll call it 1282. If they're going to test these stops here. Let's go and update this. Okay, let's go and move into the cable. And we're certainly taking this drop back here. And it hasn't impacted the cable as much as it would have been obviously the euro, but and we had even talked about that at least with cable, they've had some good data. So unlike the euro, because you're seeing that right now, this is all about this very piss poor data that we got of the euro. As far as support here on the cable, we're trading pretty tight right now. It's 29.80. Let's go to the 2-hour chart. You wonder the way that the move has happened this morning, and we're on a Friday. They may just it's safer to push it right into the dollar as we go lower, and the real strength. So we're going to go with this. The support here comes in at 30.17. Looking at resistance right now is going to be right there at 31.47. And moving in now to the Aussie. We're seeing the euros coming in pressing here. They're going to want to press those stops here. And as I said, we're going to move this here to it's 12.82 right here. They're going to try and press those stops. And like I said, I would have expected a little bit better reply, better pop back, maybe to, like I said, to the 1320-ish. So they're really testing the folks here and going to try and test these stuff, try and take out the lows. Even if they try and recover, it would seem like they'd want to take out these lows, test those lows, and then see if we can get down to 1282-ish here. Let's go and move into the Aussie now. Well, after that good data, we've seen the Aussie going in and start to slide back down the hill again. And we're going to need to go and move into the 2-hour chart to get a little closer look here. And boy, slide back we have right here. If we were to do a little trend line, and like I said, I'm not generally not much of a trend line guy, but there's a little bit of support coming in here. You can see right here. Wrong one. Hold on. See right here. Support on a short-term basis is going to come in at 70.78. Yeah, some good data right here. We'll call it right there, 70.78, 70.78. And let's go for resistance. Oh. Resistance would come in right. $71.25. There you go. And let's go and move into the Swissy. We had 99.76, and looking here on the daily, it's going to be key if we can get above that 99.87. Let's take a look at this on a 2-hour chart. With the strength that the dollar is trying to press right now, if we can make another run up here in the dollar, that resistance is going to come in at 99.87. Support, on the other hand, see, and the dollar is strengthening here, is going to come in right there. That's a long ways off. I really don't see it coming back down here. It's going to come in right there at 99. Right there. 99.30. And bullish. Let's go on and move in now to the dollar CAD. And we saw a pretty good rebound here in the dollar CAD, despite crude oil still being relatively strong. And one key thing is, remember, we've been yapping about this. The key thing was it need to get above 33.54 to generate some upside momentum. Now, well, can we go and make it up to this 34.18? Let's go and move into the 2-hour to see where the resistance is. Resistance on the upside is going to be this key 34.15. I don't know if we're going to get there today, but that's going to be the next key levels, 34.15. Support. It's going to come in right there, 33.29. 33.29 for support on the dollar CAD. And now let's go move into the peso. Well, we saw this quick run up here on the peso as the dollar had strengthened, and right into some, which was used to be was support, now is going to be resistance. And can we push a little bit further? Maybe on a little bit of short covering we could. Looking here, it's going to come in right there. This is already be key area, but if they want to press the stops just a little bit further, it's going to come in right there, 19.005, 19.005. And let's take a look at this on a daily. Not seeing anything of any real significance. Support is going to come in at 18,896. Keys back to our old friend. Remember 58.96? That's going to be key on a daily close and support. We'll see here. Support comes in at 58.73. And it's going to be key for it to hold that 58. Apologize. Let's see. 96 on daily close. Now the upside. 59.68. And let's move into the dollar yen. Now we were looking for 1034 on this run, and we got the 1034, but overall we're looking for eventual move to this 927 pivot. There's resistance to 1095. On a short-term basis, you can look on here on this. Well, I guess we should. The major resistance is 1095, which was support, remember, on the way back. But with S&P, it's probably going to have a tough time in a lot of these German PMIs to make another stab higher. We'll go resistance at 1081. And moving into the Aussie. We had 78.62, and we've since slid back. I mean, obviously with the yen coming apart, well, the yen took a pretty good dip, so we've come in right into this support here at 78.36, right here. But we can still see lower here with risk, so we're just going to move this just a little bit lower here at 78.25 for today. And resistance. It's going to come in right there. 78.76. Now let's go move into the cash dollar index. Well, look at the daily. You can see right where they ran out of gas, right here at this 96.81, which is key here on the daily. Let's go and take a look at it on the 2-hour chart. If we try and make another stab higher, I'm not so sure we will, but that would be your risk level here at 96.92 on the upside. And support's going to come in right there at 96.35. Well, we had the 1323 from yesterday, and gold's an interesting situation in light of what's happening with the euro. The only thought, well, we can still have the upside because of if equities are going to start to pare back. So we're going to stay with this 1323 on the short haul. With the 1304 support. And let's go and move into the bunds. Well, with this poor German data, boy, did we see a slide here in the bunds. Look at that. New highs for this move here in the bunds. The next key demand area is right there, 67.94. Resistance 67.62. So 67.62 for today. And support on a short-term basis is right there, 67.13. This may have been it for here for the DAX because I don't even see that they're going to push higher. Yeah, you're going to get lower rates here on the bonds, but the reason why isn't a good reason. So I think the upside is going to be rather limited here for the bonds. Resistance is going to be right there. $11,573. And support, well, we can see another leg down here. Maybe not today, but looking out, it's going to come in right there, potentially move down here to 11,392 before you see some demand. The euro trying to stabilize here at these lows. As I said, we're looking here on the upside of 1329. Remember that daily close level here of 1340. Remember earlier in the week we called it the elusive 1340. Right there. And if you look at this is really bad news because you finally break out and then we did actually hit that target and then you come back down, but you'd be looking at, you'd be taking out all these dailies right here. This is going to be key right there. That 13, if we're not able to get above this 1326. Because you'll then have closed below the closes of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, even the open from here. So it'd be very key if they are not able to get a close above 1326, although your risk level is 1340. So here's the bias chart. We'll get that posted in the room. And thanks for joining us here on the European crossover.